600 acres, and Vellore, Panapakkam, this is 1100 acres, and again Hosur, 2500 acres. These 11,000 acres are in various pipelines. This will be completed soon. And this is in the southern part of the Tamil Nadu. Since the land is given at 50% of the current rate, that is, remaining 50% is subsidized by the state government, there is lot of demand for the land availability in south by the industries. So in Sivagangai, this is Ramnad and Dindukkal, Theni, Virudhunagar, Pudukkottai, Thoothukudi, Tirunelveli, Kanyakumari. So all these put together will comes around 20,000 acres of land bank. These acquisition will be completed in another 3 to 6 months. And another special project, that is Madurai Thoothukudi Industrial Corridor. This corridor commences from Madurai to Kanyakumari. This covers a distance of 327 kilometers. The industrial corridor will be established at a bandwidth of 25 kilometers on either side of the NH. Madurai to Thoothukudi, Thoothukudi to Tirunelveli, Madurai to Kanyakumari will be like a triangle. So manufacturing, business, investment regions, agri-business, knowledge hub, tourism zone will be created. So automobiles, agrochemicals, agro and food processing, port-based industries, renewable hub, electrical, textile, leather, all these units can be established in this corridor. The infrastructure outlay proposed for this corridor development will be around 40,000 crore with industrial investment of 1,90,000 crore, which is likely to generate 18 lakh persons to the employment. That is more than the Chennai region. So this is Chennai-Bangalore Industrial Corridor. This corridor commences from Chennai, gets through Andhra Pradesh via Hosur, reaches the Bangalore. The distance will be around 500 kilometers, the entire stretch of the corridor. The bandwidth will be of 75 kilometers on either side of the corridor. Even we are establishing one plastic park near Kattupalli in Tiruvallur districts. This is exclusively the plastic park for plastic industries. These are all the few schemes of SIPCOT. So this is about the land bank. Because of our Honorable Chief Minister's able administration and good guidance, the Tamil Nadu is the most preferred investors' paradise due to world-class infrastructure, booming urbanization, and well-connected logistics and excellent port facilities, environmental friendly power sources, trusted financial hub and ideal investment destination, and fast growth among the Indian states. Having spoken about our capacity, competence and efficiency, we promise you that we have the potential to energize and galvanize ourselves to meet your imperative requisite needs. We would be very proud and accelerated if you major global giants wish to invest and choose Tamil Nadu as the preferred destination, and you may be rest assured that all your needs will be taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. Now may I request Ma'am Anjun Kim, CEO, Hanjan Enterprise, for the presentation. Yeah, ma'am, actually you have to finish within 5 minutes. Sorry to say that. Yeah.
Okay. 안녕하세요. 현대무슨 김정입니다. Welcome everyone. First of all, I'm honored to be invited as a Korean property consultant in real estate section. Tamil Nadu is known not only a competitive car hub, but geared for a huge car market. During the time of developing the state, investors and foreign companies learned from their experience that it was not easy to get to know about all the process, how to invest, and how to properly set up the companies in the state. I thought that it would be better to have a guidebook provided by government, which contains those subject phrases such as establishing company, purchasing land, setting up the factory, renting a factory process, housing land transaction from government. Also, we need to circular the useful website of organization such as www.tnreginet. We can check out all the registered document of survey numbers in the land. Then we feel much easy to invest in Tamil Nadu and communicate the government for prospective development in the future. The guidebook will be principle and direction for Korean, other foreign companies and investors to invest in Tamil Nadu. I hope it helps many companies and other investors. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your presentation. Now it is time to present the bouquet. May I request the Additional Chief Secretary, ma'am, to present the bouquet to the eminent guest. No, we have memento. No? Memento we have, I think. Yes, yes.
If there are any questions related to this, we are running late by 10 minutes already, so please be brief in your questions. If any, please introduce yourself and your question pointed to whom.
The land availability. You were classifying lands into three categories. The first category being the approved design layout. And you also mentioned that this particular layout doesn't require OSR requirements. But we are actually present in approved layout, which is of Sipcot High Tech Park and Sipcot Industrial Park, which I know it's an approved design layout. And we also have an OSR land, which is between our DTA land and an SEZ land. We are trying to request the government to allot that land also to us. But you had mentioned that the OSR requirement is not there for the design layout, approved design layout. So if that requirement is not there, I think we can take over that property also there.
You can give us the details. We will get it examined. Yeah.
No,
we'll
we
try
have
to
given
sort
a
it
request to the government already on that.
out. Yeah, you can give it to us because OSR is exclusively dealt with by DTCP office.
Okay.
So you can come and meet me next week, and we'll try to sort it out.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, hi. My name is.
Requested not to make a grievance redressal forum. If there are common issues of concern which is of interest to everyone, those issues you can raise here. Other individual issues out the seminar you can discuss on one-to-one, case-to-case basis.
Hello, hi. My name is Karthik, and I'm with DC Cap. I just want to say that this session was really well organized, and we are very impressed with whatever information you had provided. Is there any way you can make this available online? Especially, I liked your slides a lot. So if
We
you
have-
can make it available
We'll be
online.
sending by email all the presentations with the permission of the presenters who are there. We will be sending you the copies. That's why I was collecting the email addresses. We'll be sending you emails of the presentations.
But in addition to the email, if you can actually put it on YouTube for the people who are not here, I think it will really help them also.
That is, I think, up to, that is a departmental
That
call,
we might
but
have to
my
get it
mandate
clear.
is only up to the, those who are registered participants and who are participating here. We'll send it to you.
Most of these two presentations, though both of them had said it in their own way, would be available on the website. The request was for a handwritten, for a printed brochure. I think though Guidance Bureau does have a brochure, I think Ms. Kim's point was to make it simple and very easy to understand. I think we had discussed that earlier, that we could, some of the things, since some of us didn't make presentations, we could make it into something very simple and add it on and make it available to you. YouTube, we will check with the organizers on that. As of now, we will be able to send you the PowerPoints. Should not be able to. SIPCOT wants to, MD SIPCOT says that if you go to their website, not only the details which he presented, but also the vacant sites within the park is available on the website itself.
The last question, please. We are running late by 15 minutes already. We have
I'm
two more.
Sabesan from Chennai, madam. Actually, the land issues which you are mentioning, when a transfer of title is happening and a subdivision is happening, it is not synchronized with the two departments of registration as well as the land records of revenue. We have to take our own steps to prove that it has been subdivided and the title has been transferred. Is there any possibility that it can be synchronized?
We are, no, this is what you're talking about is the Karnataka model. Currently that won't be happening, but we are synchronizing the connection between the registration office and the Pata transfer office. That is, the application will move automatically to the Taluk office, hopefully in the short term. Even today, we have made manual arrangements for the registered cases to go to the concerned revenue department. It has, as of today, 60% of our Patta transfer, that's what we call for change of registry in the land records, it is called as Patta transfer. Today, 60% of our applications come from the sub-registrar's office. The sub-registrar offices are further computerizing. In the new software, automatically the application will move from the sub-registrar office to the revenue office. But your thing that it should automatically happen cannot be done, because the requirements for registration due to the Registration Act are different from what we have to verify when we change the land records. Because of the differing requirements for registration and the revenue department, it will have to come to revenue department, and revenue department will have to go through the process. But the point is well taken, and we are definitely taking steps that the application at least should move seamlessly from sub-registrar office to the revenue department. I mean, the follow-up that is left to your devices.
Thank you. We move on to the next session on labor and of industrial safety and health, and Ms. Dong Jung, Assistant Manager Kotra, to please come on the dais. We are, running behind schedule, so request you to be as precise and as brief as possible. We want the session to be more interactive and clear the doubts of the audience. So 5 minutes each to the presenters, maximum 7 minutes.
All of you, a very good morning. I am always a Labour Department person. I am a Joint Commission of Labour, working as a Director, Tamil Nadu Institute of Labour Studies. it is my great privilege to extend a hearty welcome to the delegates of this session. I thank the honored dignitaries for the august presence. I deem it a pleasure to make a presentation on subject dealing with labor issues. First of all, I would like to tell you a small information about the department. Our department is called Labor Department. It's a very premier department, oldest department, established in the year 1920. Our department, under the chairmanship of our Honorable Minister, Labour and Employment, the Secretary to the Government, Labour and Employment is our Secretary. Our Commissioner is our HOD. This is a vision of our department. Our vision is to facilitate harmonious industrial relations and safeguard the interest of the workers. In Labour Department, we have a set of officers from Joint Commissioner to the lower rank of Labour officer in the districts. We are striving forward. We are making all the efforts to achieve the industrial harmony and safeguard the interest of the workers as well as the growth of the industry. As you all very well aware of it, the Tamil Nadu is a heaven of peace, that is industrial peace. Labor laws. Labor is a subject, falls under the concurrent list of the Constitution of India. It means both the Parliament as well as the state legislature can enact labor laws. They are empowered to legislature. Labor laws are aims at protecting the interest of the both employer as well as the workers. These are some of the broad functions of our department: enforcement, conciliation, welfare, enforcing legal metrology, training and capacity building. Enforcement, you all very well aware of it. We are enforcing set of labor laws in the shop shed establishments, catering establishments, motor transport establishments, plantations, other than the factories. By enforcing the labor laws, we try to safeguard the interests of the workers as well as protect the growth of the industry. Conciliation is yet another important function of our department. The conciliation function is to mediate and facilitate the partners of the dispute and arrive at an amicable solution. The conciliation officers are otherwise called labor officers. They are situated almost all the districts of Tamil Nadu. So, any issues, immediately the conciliation officer, without waiting for anybody's request, he will come into the picture. He will take the problems or disputes and try to arrive at an amicable solution. By this way, he will achieve the goal of our department, that is maintaining the harmonious industrial relations. I am just making a small point on the welfare. We, the department, is protecting the welfare of the unorganized workers. That is 97% of the unorganized workers are in our country. By establishing 17 labor welfare boards in our department, we extend a lot of welfare measures to protect the unorganized workers. The Tamil Nadu is the pioneer in protecting the welfare of the unorganized workers. Enforcing legal metrology is nothing but consumer protection. This is one of the functions of our department. This is the enforcement of legal metrology and packaged commodity rules. Next function, training and capacity building. Training, we have a small and very big, very efficient institute that is called Tamil Nadu Institute of Labour Studies. That is an academic institution. We also impart training to the employers, trade unions, officers of various departments, and representatives of the employers. Again, the Tamil Nadu Institute of Labour Studies, I told you, aspirations of labor today. So, human being is a labor. So, without aspiration, no human being can exist. So, these are the some of the aspirations. They want better wages, equal pay for equal work, job security, career development, basic amenities, and recognition of leadership. These are the some of the things I have just mentioned. Labor disputes. Disputes mainly revolving around the wage rise or wage revision. And some of the other important issues are bonus, incentive payment, regularization of workmen, and mainly the non-employment of any worker. The role of employers in maintenance of industrial harmony. Employer's role is a preventive role. I am just mentioning the enforcement of labor laws. The employer has to comply, self-comply all the labor legislations that is being applicable to them. If they are comply with all the provisions of the Act and rules, I am sure most of the labor disputes can be averted. These are some of the things I just suggested. Internal systems are one of the measures which can prevent the labor disputes. You all very well aware of it. Communication, very important one. There cannot be one-way communication. Two-way communication is very, very essential for preventing any labor disputes. And major important issue is that workers should be involved in the participation of the management. So, the management requested to organize some committees. Through these committees, they can very well avert the disputes. Next, the important role of the department, the conciliation role. I have already told you, our offices are located near the districts. Any disputes or apprehension of disputes, our officers will come in forward, take the role, and try to amicably settle the issues. Industrial climate in Tamil Nadu. Industrial climate is conducive and peaceful for economic growth. Our Tamil Nadu is maintaining a cordial relationship between the employer and as well as the workers. We have abundance of labor, infrastructure is a promising state, and the state is the largest contributor to the India's GDP, that is 8.4%. And our state, it is very proud to say, highest share of India's industrial workforce, that is 16%, highest share of India's total workforce, 17%. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, may I request Mr. P. Bose, Director of Industrial Safety and Health, Chennai, for your brief insight.
Good afternoon, investors, organizers, and delegates. I am Bose, Director of Industrial Safety, Directorate of Industrial Safety and Health. Directorate of Industrial Safety and Health. And our department enforces labor legislations in case of factories. And we have around 43,576 factories covering about 19,37,887 workers in Tamil Nadu. Our scope is to enforce, to take care of health and safety and welfare of the workers in case of factories. And now we have been entrusted with the task of enforcing health and safety welfare in construction establishments also. Beyond Factories Act, we enforce so many other acts. Salient acts are Payment of Wages Act, Minimum Wages Act, Maternity Benefit Act, and Contract Labor Act, and some more acts like National and Festival Holidays Act, and so on, Equal Remuneration Act, and so on. As I already told, we implement labor legislations in factories and try to maintain health, safety, and welfare to the working community in factories. Officials carry out periodical inspections. We have some norms for factories depending upon the class of factory, whether it is a hazardous factory or a small factory or a larger factory or a dangerous factory carrying out a dangerous operation. Based on that, we have periodicity of inspections. Based on those periodicity, we inspect factories and suggest remedial measures wherever it is deemed fit, and take legal action if necessary against the erring management. And especially in case of any fatal accident, we definitely take action, legal action. And beyond, earlier we were doing only enforcement, and later on, somewhere during 1983, we started preaching also, because beyond enforcement, educating the workers and even the executives in factories will bring better results in enforcing, in bringing out safety in the workers. So that's why department has now taken up the task of giving safety training to workers and at the end of the work spot itself. And beyond that, we jointly organize safety classes through National Safety Council at different places collectively, especially for cement industry exclusively and sugar industries, chemical industries. Like that also we take, and we go to individual factories also and take safety and training classes. In case of major accident, hazard factories, they have to have a lot of special precautions to be taken, and mock drills will have to be conducted by them, and they will have to get site appraisal committee approval, and things like that are there. And there is an exclusive provision for hazardous factories beyond the dangerous factories. Dangerous factories are different and hazardous factories are different. And most of the hazardous factories fall under the category of dangerous factories. And hazardous factories will have to take much more care and for preventing industrial disasters. We conduct mock drill, factory people conduct mock drill in the presence of inspectorate of factories officials, and any commissions or omissions noticed during the mock drill is pointed out by the officials, so that it may not be repeated in the actual scenario. Beyond enforcing safety, our department takes care of the welfare, health of the workers also. We have doctors in different areas, and we have, beyond that, we have one chief medical officer also. And doctors, what do? They go to individual factories and medically check up the factories, and also